Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for another week of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. I'm Pat.
I'm Jodi.
You are?
Hola.
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 We haven't done any coffee time Spanish in a while.
No, we have not done any coffee
we'll have
time
to do that,
Spanish.
But we don't have. Next couple weeks maybe we'll be able to get into it.
We'll do it, and we want to wish all the mothers out there.
Because Mother's Day is coming up.
Sunday. Depending on when you're listening to this podcast.
You might be listening to this after Mother's Day and go, what the hell are you talking about? Mother's Day's already passed. That was 3 weeks ago. Well, you shouldn't have listened to the show 3 weeks after it aired.
Exactly. So
and
Mother's Day.
Listen to it whenever you want.
Mother's Day's coming up. I know that we got a nice gift for your mom. And we got a nice gift for my mom. And we found this really cool.
Para mi mamá y tu mamá.
Ah, sí.
All right, Jerry?
Muy bien.
G2?
G2 is in the house tonight.
Our engineer's name is actually Gerardo, and he goes by Jerry. But because we have two Gerardos, or Gerardos, he's become G2. Now, I don't know why he's G2 because he's been around longer than G1.
Yes.
But maybe G cool, does it sound cooler?
Well, what's it called? Well, he's in my class.
He's in your class. Oh, okay. Okay, so he's in your class
but
and you show up
afterwards. But in the sight and sound world, you're really G1.
You're really G1.
The OG.
You're the OG.
OG, that's right.
OG.
The original G.
So in class you'll be G2 and here you'll be OG. Okay, that's cool. We got that. See how we solve problems here.
Week after week. So happy Mother's Day. I'm looking forward. This might be the year that some unclaimed child might say that I'm their mom, Pat. This could be the year.
Unclaimed child?
This could be the year I get a Mother's Day card from somebody out there who says I'm their mama.
That would be weird.
That would be so
cool. That would be
Chingo.
Really weird.
Chingo will be sending me, my two dogs, Chingo, Champ and Bingo, are going to be sending Mommy a beautiful present, I'm sure.
Yeah, they already know that you're their mother. So I don't think there's a real issue with that.
Oh, my gosh. And we want to thank everybody who's following us on our social media outlets, the Twitter and the Facebook and SoundCloud. If you're listening to this show, whoever you are out there, please make sure you tell a friend, pass the word around that Staying Up with Pat and Jodi is hysterical. It's fun. We talk about everything from social media to current events to just all kinds of fun stuff. So thumbs up. Oh, and of course, when The Walking Dead comes back, we'll be going back with our... I'm so confused today on the YouTube. Yeah, thumbs up, because we'll be talking about Walking Dead very, very soon when it comes back.
And then Mike Walters will never listen to the show again.
Mike Walter.
Notice how Walter. I have to mess up his name and let him know that he'll no longer be interested in listening to the show after this point because we're going to be talking about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
Well, yes, Mike Walter is back, and so is Vincent. Vinny and Mike are back. Vinny are back.
Vinny.
With DJ's drinking coffee, so shout out to Mike and Vinny. And Mike and Vinny had a very interesting show this week. They did talk about obviously the fight of the century. You are right, Pat, in regards that Mike Walter didn't care anything about the fight. So
absolutely. So, he could care less, but he's not a boxing fan, so
right. He's a football fan.
Yeah,
he's a big football fan. And you know what he brought up, which was a very interesting fact, was how the fight was on pay-per-view. You had to see pay-per-view. What if big sporting events like the Super Bowl was a pay-per-view? Or the World Series, if they made things like that, pay-per-views.
You could certainly do it. You would get a lot of people pissed off because you'll have something. Boxing is that type of event. Those big fights happen a few times a year. But these are traditional things that have been on network TV for decades. First off, you'd have to convince the networks not to carry them. You'd have to know that you would make the money back on. It's worked so far. They already make enough money with this that it doesn't make sense financially for them to do it on pay-per-view. If it did, they would have already done it. They would have already done it.
But think about it. We pay for cable, right?
Yeah.
And we have to pay for Channel 3 or CBS and NBC and ABC. So aren't we kind of, in a way, paying for watching the World Series and the Super Bowl?
You are paying for it. In fact, that's why you have TV packages. If you want additional channels, you pay more. Why? Because the networks, or the cable networks, have to pay those to air those channels. So you have your basic one, and then you have another step up that has these channels that are premium, and then another one, and then you have to pay more for HBO.
Sure.
So you're paying a premium for all of them.
Sure.
But when you have a special event like a big fight like this, that's part of how they pay for the purse.
Got it.
Is because the reality is they could make more money on pay-per-view than they can on traditional traditional television with advertising. If they could do it on network TV and sell the advertising and make $500 million like they did with the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, then they would do it.
Yeah,
It's just that model isn't there yet, and the reality is that if eventually it's going to go probably all to what they call over the top TV, which is basically on demand.
And there were people, we did watch the fight. I worked on Saturday night. I had a mitzvah, and we did have a
Mazel
little.
tov.
Thank you. Holla. We had a little tiny iPhone that we got to be able. We saw the fight.
Yeah, there was a
And
special feed that they
it was
had.
a special feed, and it was interesting because we also, by the way, periscoped to see if anybody was periscoping the fight. And yes,
they were.
They were. People taped their television set and were showing the whole entire fight on Periscope.
Periscope and Meerkat are both catching hell right now because of the fact that so many people did that.
Yeah.
But the reality is that happens with every broadcast like this. People find there was, let's face it, there was all kinds of pirated feeds that you could get for free. Coming out of other countries.
From Mexico.
Hola. They had a feed that you could just pick up that was literally somebody got the feed and diverted it right on, started streaming it on that feed for free for everybody. So
I'm not saying how we got our feed, but that could have been one of the ways.
That's one of the ways
that was definitely one of the ways.
That is one of the ways.
G1 was hooking us up. but Pat, the fight is what people
the fight
are still
of the century.
talking about. Oh my God.
And here's the thing, and everybody's like, this is no fight of the century, and I got to tell you this, I agree. And I told you beforehand it wasn't going to be the fight of the century.
You called it, Pat, straight down from the beginning.
I told you it wasn't even going to be an exciting fight. If we remember, let's think back. What was the last fight of the century? Do you remember?
Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed.
No, we're talking about in the real world.
Rocky Balboa and Mr. T.
Okay, we'll talk to somebody who actually lives in this dimension. It was the Mayweather De La Hoya fight 7-8 years ago, and that was touted as the fight of the century, and it was a snooze fest. Why? We had two defensive fighters that were really good at not getting hit. De La Hoya was at the end of his career, and he wasn't as fit as he should be, and has admitted recently that after the 6th round, he kind of ran out of gas and stopped jabbing, which is actually the only thing that kept it interesting. But we knew that it wasn't going to be an exciting fight. Now, these were the two top fighters at the time coming together, so people are thinking this is an Ali Frazier thing. Different styles. The challenge with these big fights is the vast majority of the people watching are not boxing aficionados. It's kind of like the people who watch football just during the Super Bowl, and it could be a 7-6 score, and they're going to say it's a boring game because they didn't score enough yet. The fact is that these two teams pulled off a clinic on how to defend and just did some amazing work, and these guys played at 110%, and they were just on their game and managed to keep the other guys from scoring a lot, so made it for a close game. Good fights, although I'm not going to say the Mayweather fight was a good fight because Pacquiao was injured. Good fights aren't always exciting fights. A boxer's job is not. They're not dancing clowns. They're not there for our entertainment. You can say, well, why are we paying for it? Well, you're the one who paid for it. If you want to see a fight, you have to get what you get. The reality is that boxer's job is to win the fight, plain and simple. Mm-hmm. They're not there just to entertain you. They're not a dancing clown, and
it's
they're not
WWE.
No,
it's
not. It's not sports entertainment.
Yeah.
It is sports, and it is a competitive
It's real.
sport.
It's a real sport.
And what you have is a guy that has fought 49 fights or 48 fights, won every single one of them, but in every single one of those matches has done what he needed to do to win. He's never been a big puncher. He's always been an amazing defensive guy. People are just saying, oh, he's chicken, he runs. No. He makes it hard for his opponent to hit him. He's an amazing. That's what defense is.
That. You said that.
He's not like a lot of the Mexican fighters who are taught to stand in the middle of the ring and beat the hell out of each other. Those are much more exciting fights, absolutely. But a lot of those guys are nowhere near as skilled as Mayweather and could not even come close to matching to beating him.
So when
Canelo Alvarez was a perfect example. Canelo Alvarez got outclassed when he fought Mayweather.
When we were watching it on our little iPhone device, we saw a lot of from our advantage.
It looked like Manny was punching
a lot. Like it was just constant. It was
because you just caught a few flurries.
And Joaquin kept saying to me, "Oh my God, your guy is look at Pacquiao. He's just throwing punches." And I'm like, "Well, Pat said he was going to throw a lot of punches."
And he generally does, but he threw a third less punches than he normally would. Perfect example. He threw a little over, I think it was 600 punches for this fight or something like that. I'd have to look back at the stats, but he was a full third less than he threw in the Algieri fight. That's a lot. That's a big, especially against a guy like Mayweather, who you need to keep on the run. And all of the things that he said he was going to do that he needed to do to beat Mayweather, he didn't do. He didn't use his hook because of the shoulder. And a lot of you probably already know, Pacquiao is now in trouble. Outside of the fans that are suing him, I think they lost money. I mean, I could care less if you gamble on the fight, and you know that's your own problem.
So the fans are suing him because he didn't disclose the fact that he hurt his shoulder,
and they lost money.
And they lost money
Gambling.
So
yeah.
had he disclosed the fact that he had a shoulder injury, I won't bet on him.
I guess, but here's the thing: had he not had the shoulder injury, he probably still would have lost. And people aren't going to want to hear that, but that's the actual truth: is that Mayweather would have just done more, and he would have frustrated him even more. And because Mayweather was not working as hard as you think to win this fight. This was nowhere near his most challenging fight. In fact, Maidana was a much tougher fight for him than this one. And that's the thing is and a lot of that was due to the fact that Pacquiao had an injured shoulder. He went in for a rotator cuff surgery, and our producer John even said, in the 11 years that we've known Pacquiao, because he had him on the show a bunch of times, and trust me, we love Pacquiao. We're big Pacquiao fans, so I don't want you to think that I'm siding on Mayweather. I'm just trying to state the facts. He said it was his worst performance in a decade. And it was, because he was injured. And he did not. In fact, there's a questionnaire that you have to submit to the Nevada Boxing Association ahead of time that's asked if the fighter has any injuries. And they said no. But then 6 hours before the fight, they say, is it okay if we shoot him up with basically what was a painkiller and anti-inflammatory? And he can't do that because he'd fail the drug test afterwards. So, and this was an injury that they apparently knew about for the last few weeks. So, to me, I don't understand. Why not just postpone the fight? The fight would have still happened.
Because it
would have still happened.
It would have?
Absolutely. There's nobody's throwing away a $500 million fight.
Maybe that's why he didn't cancel. That's why he didn't say anything.
No, because the fight still would have happened. And it still would have been just as big. And it would have been a more interesting fight because Pacquiao would have been after him a little bit more.
So do you think we're going to see a rematch? Because, Floyd, what an interesting, not to change the topic, what an interesting press conference that night. Oh my God, you're sitting there going, that's what I see all the time. Because in this corner TV is what you produce.
And we cover all the big fights.
You cover all the big fights. And we got home from our event and Floyd was just going on with the press conference. We saw it on ESPN. He's all over the place. And he's talking about how he's going to retire the belts. Did that happen? Because today's Thursday.
I haven't heard anything
He said
yet.
on Monday he was going to give all the belts back.
I didn't look that up. I probably should have. But I didn't look that up to see whether or not he.
And then he says, I'm my last fight. I'm going to have one more fight. But now I'm hearing, there might be a rematch. Because think about it. Fight 48 was Pacquiao. Fight 49 is in September against somebody. It's
scheduled for September, but no opponent has been chosen yet.
And then fight 50, which will break the record because he's tied the record, right, with Rocky Marciano.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It would just break Rocky Marciano's record.
There
are other fighters.
Be a rematch.
But here's the thing. There are other fighters who have gone more than 49-0. There are quite.
No.
In fact, other ones. Yes, there are. Then
then why are they talking about Floyd breaking the record?
It's Rocky Marciano's record. About breaking his record.
So who else? So nobody.
There are other fighters that have gone 100-0, and
but why don't we know about that?
Well, they do, but you don't hear about it as much because it's just because Rocky Marciano was such an iconic fighter that's who they're using as the kind of.
I got to tell you,
example.
I liked Floyd's press conference. He was floating like a butterfly.
He was all over the place.
Kind of punchy. He got up, he walked away, he came back. He
just in the middle of it, walked up, go talk to somebody on the side.
That was the weirdest. I'm like, has he taken too many punches in the head?
Talking about his $100 million check that he was handed.
And he was showing people the check, but then he wouldn't show the account number.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
It's like, oh, my goodness. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually play a little clip. This is of our post-fight piece. This was actually done immediately after the fight. This was before we heard about the surgery, any of the lawsuits, anything else. This is just basically a little bit of the press conference, and it's also sort of Smitty's wrap-up.
Courtesy of
In This Corner TV, which is the show that we produce.
And you can find it on
inthiscornertv.com. Seconds out. It's all over. It's on a bunch of It's on a bunch of regional sports networks that you could find it. It's in South Africa. It's in New Zealand. It's all over the
Wow.
country. It's all over the world.
You guys are big. I didn't
So-
realize that.
See, there you go. I'm just pulling it up here.
Smitty
so-
is huge. I thought just
Actually, no. Smitty is really small. Oh, you mean as far as
Yes,
the,
Smitty.
But yeah, this show's just celebrated its 11th year on the air.
Oh,
so-
wow.
And you're going to hear a little music at the beginning here, but it's going to go into the post-fight press conference and his wrap-up
Hello,
of the
fight
fight.
fans. James Smith from in this corner, still at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. A once crowded, raucous MGM Grand Garden Arena is now shut down, and shut down is exactly what Floyd Money Mayweather did en route to a lopsided 12-round decision over Manny Pacquiao. Floyd improves to 48-0 after the fight. Post-fight reaction.
I knew he was going to be tough. You know, I knew he was going to be a tough competitor. He's tough. You know, but his footwork, you know, compared to my footwork is totally different. You know, when he come, I kept using the check hook, you know, using the jab, then hook off. Then when he get close, you know, defense, then I tie him up, you know, roughhouse him. I got to do that with experience, roughhouse him. Then take him back in the center of the ring, box him, counter him, touch him with the jab, just being smart. You know, I got a 72-inch reach. He had like a 67. So I got to use, you know, like I said before, it's always about working smarter, not harder. And we believe in, you know, like I said before, taking less punishment as possible. And other fighters got baited into engaging toe-to-toe with Manny, and that's what he wanted.
I respect Mayweather. I mean, he's fast. He's a good boxer, and I mean, you know, give the credit to him. He won tonight, so I mean, just prove it.
Manny's, he's a remarkable fighter. He's an unbelievable fighter. But I can't just say that he's the toughest fighter that I faced. And I can't say he's the hardest puncher that I faced. But I can see why he's where he's at in the sport, to whereas it's just as little moves that he tried to make in the fight. But with me having so much experience boxing so many different styles, I can counter and calculate his moves.
It wasn't bothering me the loss right now because I fought a good fight. I did my best, and I think the people they're very happy because even though I hurt my shoulder, I didn't complain in the ring and like that. But you know, it's.
Okay, now see, that was the first point when he admits that he'd hurt his shoulder. So that was kind of interesting that we hadn't heard about anything about his shoulder injury until this point. And Manny, we're going back and forth in this piece, but Manny actually came on first and talked about the shoulder injury, which obviously needed to have surgery on. It was that serious, which made a big difference in, you know, his performance in the fight. You know, but if you heard Mayweather, and this has been Mayweather all along, he's never kept this a secret. If you've ever watched boxing, if you've ever watched any of his fights, you know that he is not an aggressive, he's not a standing in the middle ring puncher. He's a tactical fighter. He's a defensive fighter. He knows how to when to get out of the way. He knows when to wrap up. He knows when to box the guy. He knows how to, and he's the best counterpuncher of his generation, which the one style of fighting that screws up Manny more than anything else is counterpunchers. He had Marquez is a great counterpuncher, and he's lost to Marquez, but Manny's lost to Marquez, and Marquez is not even as good a counterpuncher as Mayweather. So
Interesting.
You're looking at it. It really was a kind of an interesting.
It's interesting to hear Floyd explain things, and then Manny is like, he was good. He was a very good fighter.
Well,
I had a great
yeah,
match.
he's not going to communicate as well, obviously,
He
because
doesn't communicate
English
nearly as
'cause
well as,
look.
like-
When we first interviewed him, which was granted was 11 years ago, he couldn't speak 2 words of English. So I mean, this is not his regular language. So he obviously doesn't communicate as well. I mean, if
you were right,
Mayweather
Dad.
had to go to the Philippines and talk, he'd be kind of screwed. So, but basically,
Bring
I
a
mean,
selfie stick.
It goes on.
Oh,
It goes
hey.
on from there. But I think the biggest thing that we wanted to get across here is one of Manny's the worst performances from Manny in a decade. They blamed the unexciting fight on Mayweather. They're basically saying that it's Mayweather's
because
fight.
people don't like Mayweather.
They don't, and a lot of the
They,
opinions.
they wanted Rocky and Apollo.
And a lot of the opinions here are based on emotion because they wanted their guy to win. And look, Mayweather's not going to admit it because he's saying here how he gets upset when people say bad. He does everything in his power to get people to hate him. That's why he's the highest paid athlete in the world. He has been for the last 3 years because more people are going to show up to see a guy get beat up that they hate than see a guy win that they like. So in this case, Manny's very liked. He's a very loved, and the guy does amazing stuff for his country. He's probably going to be president there someday. You cannot take anything away from Manny as a person because he is an amazing individual. He truly is. But when you got to take away all that other stuff and just sit down and look at the facts. When you're talking about a fight, when you're talking about two men in a ring, they have to do what it takes to win. And unfortunately, I think even had Manny been healthy, I still think that the results would have been the same. Now, there's always that chance that somebody slips in that good punch. Somebody, doesn't
Looked like
pay attention.
he had a good punch going on round 11.
And round 4, Manny got a few shots in, and but the reality is, the majority of the time, he was just getting pushed around. And Manny, again, talk about punches. They threw about the same number of punches. Mayweather landed twice as often and was twice as accurate. So if you're saying that Mayweather didn't punch enough, either did Manny. And Manny's known for a lot of punches, which it's really weird to see his punch count that low. And there are rounds that he didn't land any of his jabs, any of his power punches, where that really threw him off. So, but like I said, this is going to be a controversy for a long time.
Oh yeah, and now lawsuits.
They're suing Manny. They're doing.
Is Floyd getting sued for anything?
No, they were saying that Channel 8. They posted up, or Channel 8 here locally posted up a thing, Mayweather's camp being sued, and it's not Mayweather's camp being sued. It was Al Heyman, who is a promoter, who they're saying basically the Golden Boy is suing him, basically stating that he was acting as a promoter and a manager, which is illegal, and basically sort of almost like a restriction of trade. It's the Muhammad Ali Act or whatever. That's basically stating that you can't do both because you're restricting fights from happening. The reality is that's been happening for decades. It has ever since that law went in place. HBO and Showtime have fighters that are in their ranks that really need to fight because they're two amazing fighters, and they never will because they're on different sides of the fence. So, kind of silly. We'll see. I don't know if anything will come of that other than people spending a lot of money, and the lawyers are going to be really happy.
We'll see. We'll see where this goes. But it was a great weekend for Las Vegas. Lots of people, great people watching. If you were here, oh my gosh! Friday night I had an event. Saturday night I had an event. Sunday night there was an event. Great people watching.
The private plane section of McCarran
Vegas must have
Airport.
made a lot of money.
You got to think of when you go to, like you said, like a big football game, or how the parking lot looks.
Like what are they called? Tailgating.
Tailgate.
They really tailgated at the.
They didn't tailgate at the airport.
They were touching.
But the planes were jammed in there as tight as they can get them because that private airport section of the airport was just jammed from all the people that Let's look.
Picture.
If you could pay $200,000 for a seat, you can afford to fly in a private jet.
And the people sitting ringside, Bradley Cooper was there. That was good. The Beyonce and Jay-Z were sitting ringside. And what about Floyd coming in with the Burger King?
That was hysterical.
My God, Jerry's dying.
Burger King.
I think I found the next mascot for the Fanatics. I think we need a Burger King. We have the bunny. We need a Burger King.
And you know how much it costs to have the Burger King come in?
That was crazy. What?
It cost them $1 million to have the Burger King.
Are you serious? Burger King paid $1 million.
Yes, $1 million to have the Burger King walk in behind and not say a word, just walk in
with
behind
the mask and the whole
$1 million.
Wow, that's crazy. That was crazy.
And Bieber gets to do it for free.
Bieber does it for nothing. Yeah. Thumbs up.
And Bieber looks just as ridiculous as the Burger King. So,
well, Pat,
I don't know who to laugh at more.
Well, Pat, Saturday, I predicted this, folks. I predicted Royal Baby would be born on Saturday, and I was right. Princess Charlotte has arrived. The royal baby. Now, I just want you guys to know that there's a zoo in Japan that is in a lot of trouble right now because they just had a baby monkey and they named it Charlotte.
Oh boy.
So there are.
Oh, and the Brits take their
The Brits
royalty
are
really
up
seriously.
in arms over this. The zoo. The zoo is getting flooded with angry calls and emails after announcing the name of its first monkey born this year, and the monkey's name is Charlotte.
And that
sorry.
monkey,
That was my phone.
that monkey is adorable.
Isn't it a cute little monkey?
It's adorable. They're showing a little Charlotte the
Little
monkey.
Charlotte the monkey has to be
adorable.
renamed. So they're going to rename the monkey because the royals are up in arms over the fact that this little monkey in Japan is named Charlotte.
Listen, you little monkey. Anyway.
And the big news that I'm hearing today is Adam Levine from Maroon 5 last night got sugar bombed from a fan. So these fans,
What is sugar bombed?
basically a fan took powdered sugar in a bag, got close to Adam Levine when he was coming out of the Jimmy Kimmel show right on Hollywood Boulevard. And Adam was signing autographs for fans. And this one fan, 28 years old, jumped in and tossed sugar all over Adam Levine.
So powdered sugar?
Yeah, because what is Adam Levine's #1 song right now? Sugar by Maroon 5. They were playing it a lot at cake cuttings, by the way.
Wow. It's
Yep.
not powdered sugar though. So
It
but
was.
powdered sugar gets everywhere.
No, it was powdered sugar. Look.
How he was so
A bag. And I guess apparently this same person and it was powder was everywhere. And I guess apparently this same person has some kind of history. Like last week, this person actually got close enough to The Rock, our friend The Rock, WWE The Rock, the actor The Rock, and tried to throw a rock at The Rock. So apparently there's some kind of theme going on. So sugar for the song, a rock. But it got me thinking, I mean, these people can kill somebody. I mean,
Absolutely. If you're
what
willing to get
look
caught.
what happened to John Lennon. I mean, in front of the Dakota, how many years ago he was signing an autograph and was assassinated.
If you're crazy enough, somebody will get you. I mean, it's the same even with the president. If somebody's willing to die, you're going to get the president. But, these guys are out there in public all the time, and in general, they're fairly safe. But you get one lunatic, and then, this is what somebody like that is just a douchebag. It's just a goofy douchebag that got nothing better to do in life than, I'm going to throw come on, really?
I mean, and now that kind
Really?
of, yeah, and that kind of ruins it for the fans. I mean, now Adam Levine will think twice about signing autographs.
Security's going to be higher, less access. It just, like you said, it takes away the connection of the artist to the fan because they're worried about some idiot like this doing something stupid.
Yep.
And
the WWE, they have their little fan access that you have to be patted down before you can get in there. They look in your bags, because they don't want similar situations to happen with their superstars. But thank God this was just a harmless bag of sugar. But what if it was
anything? It could have been anything.
Anything.
Could have been
what was
something
what
dangerous.
were they mailing in?
Anthrax.
Anthrax. I mean, what if it was some anthrax? I mean, imagine being scared getting that. It's crazy. So
Doesn't even do that. It could just be lye. Let some lye, and that stuff will burn your skin. And it's a powder, and there's all kinds of stuff you could do that would be horrific and that's still easily accessible. Drain cleaner or something.
So I get,
like that.
Adam Levine was pretty shaken up by that, and I can't blame him because that's just really, really scary. But I mean, there were times when I used to work with Regis. I was actually security for him. When we would do our Atlantic City shows, I was actually his security guard.
Yeah, but you're 6'1", so you're bigger than most of their regular security
That's
guards.
right.
You would just push people out of the way.
Oh, and let me tell you something. I did. I actually had to get people lined up online and move them along. And I was in elevators with Regis, and people were staring at him, taking pictures. I mean, it's just crazy.
And Regis is like 5'4" or something like that. So.
And he had a 6'1" Italian.
They're like, wow, he's got a woman's Italian security guard.
It was like the time we went to the wrestling match when the people didn't know who I was. We're sitting front row at Madison Square Garden, and they're yelling things out like, "Hey, Regis!" And they're looking at me, and they're like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "Are you his wife?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Are you his daughter?" I'm like, "No." "Are you his girlfriend?" "Hell no." And then they said, "Who are you?" They all start chanting like the WWE universe does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "The secretary." And then they start chanting, "Secretary, secretary." So was my other career. It was really weird. It was a surreal moment.
You became a side character.
I
in this
was
whole
a side character on this.
That's just funny.
Pat, you like your protein bars, don't you? You love your little protein bars. Well, I guess apparently, have you ever heard of a protein bar called Nature Valley Granola Bar? I think
Yeah, I've
we've
had
all
them
heard
before.
of them, right?
Sure.
Well, I guess apparently a lady in San Antonio, there was some cocaine, a bag of cocaine shoved in her power bar.
Wow. So was that that must have been really expensive then. She was wondering why her power bar cost $3,487.
Yeah, Cynthia Rodriguez of San Antonio says she was eating the bar when a small green bag emblazoned with dollar signs fell out of the bar. She thought it was a prize, so she contacted General Mills and said, "What did I win?" A lot of high energy, I guess. Apparently,
she was very energetic when she asked it. Hey, what did I win? I think it was a fantastic piece of great. I love it.
So they told her to call the police.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
What did he win? Trip to the police station. Yay!
Oh man!
So it was probably just somebody who was like smuggling in some Coke packets in with the granola bars and figured that and just forgot
what did I win? What did I win?
Yeah, what did you win?
She loves the cocoa.
She loves the cocoa.
She got it for the Lolo.
Oh, that song
and
is
she didn't
so
get
horrible.
it from a cholo.
That song is so
that
horrible.
song is, oh my God, that song is so bad. And then apparently, this weekend, Pat, Sight and Sound Events, our sister company, has a prom this weekend. And yeah, we're just so excited.
Yeah,
and it's prom season around the country, around the United States. Boys and girls are going to their prom. I think I might have asked you this. Did you go to your prom?
I did not.
Okay, we all heard about my prom date.
We know about your murderer boyfriend,
prom.
yeah.
But I guess apparently, remember the we talked about the boy who strapped a Brom. Oh my God, a bra.
What's a Brom?
It's a bra and a
bomb.
It's a Brom. It's the latest thing in female terrorism. It's a Brom.
Just like the man bra, the bro.
The bro. Oh my God.
Sorry, it's a Seinfeld reference. It's a Seinfeld reference.
Oh my God, he whipped it out. No, that was funny last night, by the way.
He took it out.
It took it. I never saw that. I'm going to have to watch
it.
I'm going to have to watch all the Seinfeld episodes like all in a row because I was rolling on the floor when Elaine talked about the date when the guy took it out. It took it out. But apparently this boy in Boise, Idaho, or they're looking for a boy. Authorities are looking for a teen who wanted a date with Destiny. That was the girl's name, Destiny. And hoped that he would get it by spray painting a prom proposal on an Idaho cliffside. The Idaho Statesman reports that the message said Destiny Prom. And it was painted in large pink and blue letters on the side of the Black Cliffs, which is a popular rock climbing spot east of Boise. So they're looking for somebody. So it should be pretty easy because I think they should find this guy fairly easy. How many people have the first name Destiny?
Yeah, I think they'll figure out who the girl was, and then they just got to figure out who wanted to take her to prom. And I don't think this will be tough, but unfortunately it's just going to be a vandalism charge. It's not, and they might, and the parents will probably wind up having to pay for it, which won't be cheap because if it's big giant ones, it's going to be expensive
Jerry's
to get that off.
Shaking his head, yeah, right. It's pretty, yeah. So I don't get it. Why are these boys doing this like stupid stuff to impress a
when you're
girl?
that age, you make stupid decisions. You don't make, when we were all that age, we didn't make good decisions when we were 16 or 17.
I went to an all-girls Catholic high school.
Yeah, and a lot of those girls had to leave because they made bad decisions.
There was a few. Rita Green did.
With some of the...
Just saying. This girl, Rita Green, was in our class one day,
and then
gone the next. No one ever saw Rita Green ever
Rita Green
again.
was gone.
Poor Rita Green. I hope you're out there, Rita Green.
And
how many kids do you have?
Well, we know one of them was born approximately 19. Well,
I would say what? Don't. Yeah, please don't.
Not saying
My
what
age
year.
is still a mystery. Don't give it away. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, going to this elaborate measures to ask a boy, because in my situation, we had to ask a boy to the prom.
Yeah, but that's mostly it's the guy that has to ask. I mean, it's
It was
gotten a little bit
really
different
bad.
now,
And it was
but
different.
But it's like
Different.
anything else. We see all this grandiose stuff on TV and all these
That's
grand
what-
gestures
yes.
and everything else, and then that I have to do something and it's going to seem romantic, and I don't think about the fact that okay, you just sprayed on a national monument or you did something stupid. There are ways of doing it. The problem is when you're 16, you don't have the brain power to figure out how to do it and not do something stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
let's face it, as adults, adults have a hard time figuring out how to do something big and not do something stupid.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of youth and bad decision making, which seems to all come hand in hand. We all did it.
yeah. So I mean,
All guilty of it.
Sherry, did you go to your prom? No, you didn't go.
No.
Pat didn't go to his
I didn't go to my prom.
That's so funny because going to an all-girls Catholic high school, we had to ask the boys to the prom. So, of course, I went with the murderer. My best friend, Mary Liz, what'd she go with? She called him the doofus. She went with the guy, and then Skag, or that was somebody else. You're going to have to ask Malibu these stories.
Murderer, doofus, Skag.
Murderer, Skag. That was my friend. Skag
This is a horrible... What kind of choices did you have? Where were you?
We didn't.
Holy smokes.
Who did Mary Sharon? Ginger Sharon went with some guy Tom. She had to get. It was her Uncle Larry's son, but it wasn't her cousin. It was just weird, and I don't even know how Mary Liz wound up with her date. I have no idea. But Skag was there.
Wow. Skag. Skag was there. Skag, doofus, and a murderer.
And the nerd. There was a nerd. Somebody.
How did we not have a movie made out of this somehow?
It was.
How was there not an
it was
80s
called-
movie?
What was the movie with Stifler's mom? That was
The American Pie?
like American Pie kind of thing.
I think better it's more like the one with your boy, all right. The one movie
Magic Mike.
Not Magic Mike, the one where...
Oh, I never saw that. Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused.
I never saw Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused.
Ever.
You got to
Never.
watch that because
I
it
just
would
know
take
Matthew
you right
McConaughey.
back. He basically came. Well, he didn't write the line, but one of my favorite lines from the movie. And at this point, he's supposed to be in his early 20s, I guess. And he sees some hot little high school girls going by, and he goes, "That's what I like about high school girls. I get older, and they stay the same."
God,
It's like,
all
it's like, all right. And it's like, oh man.
Oh, my
And we all knew that guy. We all had that guy that after like peaked in high school. Rob Lowe. He was peaked in high school. Matthew McConaughey.
Oh
And
my
but
gosh.
that's
Matthew
just
McConaughey.
that's just funny. Yeah, and they did all the hazing and stuff that you had to go through.
What would be your
freshman
I did.
hazing?
Yes.
That
yes.
was all in there.
Believe
so
it or
you got to
not,
watch this movie,
Yes. Oh my God.
Look it up, Dazed and Confused. That's her high school experience.
Why did we get hazed? I mean, this is an all girls. Yeah, thumbs up for that movie.
Thumbs down for
thumbs
being
down
hazed.
for being hazed.
Thumbs
I
up. The
didn't
movie was good though. It
I
was
didn't
funny.
get hazed too bad. I do have to say, I think the worst thing I had
Because you were taller
to do,
than the seniors.
Yeah, I think they were a little afraid of me. I think the worst thing I had to do is eat nasty baby food. They make you eat baby food. That was really big. Like they would pass, and you always got picked on the bus. You rarely got picked on in school, but you always got picked
because
on
the nuns
on
were there with
bus.
giant yardsticks, and they'd whack you in the head with it if
Oh
you
my
did it. The
gosh.
bus driver could give a shit. The
And-
bus driver was like, "Yeah, whatever. Just
And
don't kill each
yeah,
other."
and our hazing
No
was,
blood.
Yeah, our hazing was a lot different than the hazing that goes on in colleges because we were obviously what 15, 14,
Yeah.
13 because you're a freshman and you're in the 9th grade. So they can't
13.
Yeah, they can't do things, but they can make you I don't know if I had to do it. I can't remember. I remember eating baby food, but for some reason and my memory is blocked because I want to block this out. I might have
I don't
had
blame
to
you.
roll a pencil down the aisle of the bus while the bus was moving with my nose. I had to get down on all fours. Don't get excited.
I was
and
gonna say,
roll
we could-
a young 13-year-old Jodi on all fours rolling a pencil down the a pencil down
Who
the
came
aisle.
up with this stuff? Pedophiles?
The seniors. Actually, the seniors weren't bad. It was the juniors and the sophomores because the sophomores
they wanted to get
went
back
through
what they
it.
got,
Yeah,
yeah.
they wanted to get through it.
The seniors couldn't give a crap
the
at that point.
juniors and the juniors and the sophomores were the worst. But baby food, I remember you had to wear your uniform out backwards. You turn your skirt inside out. out, your Catholic school little skirt inside out. They made you roll down your socks. I remember one time they were making us do the bunny hop on the front lawn of the school. Just weird stuff. When it was my turn to haze, my freshman, when I was a senior, we were really cool. I mean, we had balloon day, and I had to put like balloons in this one girl's hair. But what I did was I put milk bones. I put dog bones in her hair. So she had like all little dog bones in her hair. And then I made her sing. I sang like the duck. I had to sing like a duck.
How did you manage to be the one that sang like a duck?
Well, this wasn't senior. This
And
was
you
when I
still
was
sing like a
freshman.
duck. So
Yeah, what? But yeah, it's just weird stuff. I mean, don't send your kid to Catholic school. Thumbs down. Thumbs down. Oh my gosh! All right, let's get serious. All right, let's get
That
serious.
was way too easy.
That's going back to any of
way
the
too easy.
Victory girls that are listening to this show. Will you please write me down what we did? I can't remember. I just remember. Now I remember what I did. Now I remember what I did to my poor freshman. We had a talent show. And the song the movie Love at First Bite was very popular. It was with George Hamilton, and he played a vampire. I made my freshmen, we had freshmen dressed like vampires, and they were in a nightclub. So we dressed these vampire girls like the Four Tops, and then we have mummies and like other people, Frankensteins, like in the bar, and they had to sing I Love the Nightlife, and it was a talent show. Our school actually put talent shows on.
So their hazing was basically a theater class.
Yeah, and that's when I dressed like the duck. That's
When he dressed like the duck. Okay, you
and
did it just because you wanted to dress in costume.
No,
you still
they
do
made
that.
me dress like a duck.
No,
and then,
you wanted to do
trust
that.
me. And then Sharon.
You're like, hey, I like that duck costume.
Sharon did the Down Where the Nights Are Gay from the Laverne and Shirley.
Which meant something different back then, by the way. This was a few years ago. Gay meant something different.
Happy.
Meant happy,
So
yes.
she was dressed like Laverne and Shirley, Down Where
Yeah.
the Nights Are Gay, and the dun, you know. And then Mary Liz had the worst.
Uh-oh.
She had a pop balloon.
Oh, now Jody's lost it. She's laughing at her own stories. This happens all the time. This is that PBA again.
It's PBA.
PBA. If you don't know what PBA is, look it up. But not Pro Bowlers Association.
She's going to hate me for this, but she had to pop a balloon that was attached to her.
Pop a balloon that was attached to her butt. And you know that became a popular bar game back in the 90s when I used to do nightclubs.
Yes.
We used to have people pop balloons with their
Oh my
butts.
God. Yes.
True story.
It's a true story. Oh my God. that
True
was
story.
funny. Thank you, Mary Liz, for making me laugh.
Yes, thank you for that wonderful memory. We appreciate that.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's get on. Enough with the high school and hazing. Did you know that Yelp is going to be sold? Yelp is looking for somebody to buy them. They're exploring a sale. I am not
Are they
a
just
big-
tired of doing it?
Yelp?
Yeah. Are they just
they're
like-
tired of the bad reviews. Probably.
They're tired of the bad reviews of them. That's what it is.
What do
yeah.
you think about Yelp? What are your feelings?
I think-
I like
I
the
think-
app when it comes to food and going to a restaurant.
The
but-
problem is it kind of attracts internet trolls. And it attracts all of the basically the people who all they like to do is complain about everything. And
Yes.
it's sad because then you get businesses that generally do a very good job that get bad reviews because you get a bunch of people on there that they feel that they're empowered because they have this outlet, so they're going to complain because it took them 32 extra seconds to get their order, over what they thought it should take. And it's kind of, that's why it's kind of tough to go by there. You have to look at the people that complain. You look at their other reviews. If all their reviews are negative, then you take those reviews and throw them out. And unfortunately, that's a lot of the
You know what
people
I
on
don't
there.
get about it? The Yelp. I like I said, I think the Yelp is a great idea for a restaurant. I really don't think that people that produce weddings. Yelp is. I don't think. I think if you're looking to hire entertainment, photography, videography for your wedding, I don't think Yelp is the place you do it.
It's kind
I
of like
think
you
there
said. If you're looking for a restaurant, if you're looking for a place,
maybe a salon,
a
that
hair
cuts your
salon,
hair.
yeah, something like that, barbershop, something like that, a normal day-to-day where you would just walk into the business. Our types of services are just a little too nichey and specific, and like you said, you'll get people that will complain that don't even use your service. They just
I guess
are jerk-offs.
apparently it's, $3.5 billion, the sale of Yelp.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, they could get $3.5 billion.
Because it's probably the CEO and a few of the top management are like, you know what, we've done our few years. We want to retire young, so we're going to see if we could sell this before the thing just goes down the toilet. Because right now they probably feel it's at a point where it's worth its most, and they want to dump it off to some other large company. $2.86 billion. Ooh,
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get I get the Yelp thing, but I don't get it for like what we do. Our other sister company. You worked at a pizzeria. You worked for Domino's.
Domino's Pizza.
For before Jodi. You met me.
I also worked for Damiano's Pizza before that, which was a little
Damiano's?
Yeah, it was a little place over
Really?
on Normandy.
Sounds like Domino's, but with
Damiano's before. It's just a little family-owned place, sort of like a little Italian. Yeah, he worked there first when I was in high school.
Well, I guess apparently, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a woman that was being held hostage, and she couldn't call 911. You heard about this? So she had the app, the Pizza Hut app on her phone, and she actually called for help on the Pizza Hut line, and employees of Pizza Hut, rather than thinking that this whole thing was a hoax.
Because if you
somebody's
saw
playing a
that, you would
joke,
think it was a joke. Because there's probably got to be a bunch of people that have done that, and you're like,
they
none of them
actually
Thank goodness they
took
didn't.
action on this, and they saved this woman's life.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean,
because it could have easily just been dismissed as a prank.
yeah.
Easily.
Oh yeah, in this day and age, in this society, I mean, they're very lucky that it had a very good turnout. So, I mean, you just got to pay attention to this stuff. You can't.
You just don't know.
You just don't know. I mean, if somebody hits something, but good for them, right?
Yeah, so good. They helped save the day. That's
Yeah.
And that's hopefully she'll start ordering pizza from them now too.
Well, I'm sure.
You know.
I'm sure she will. I mean, it's
I hope she has a little loyalty to that Pizza Hut now.
Oh, I think they saved her life.
Yeah,
I mean,
so she better order once a week now. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly. Now, there was a very interesting case, Pat, in the news involving a paternity case. Now,
Wasn't me.
This paternity case involves a set of twins, and it had a surprise ending worthy of a Days of Our Lives moment. I guess apparently these two twins born together, they're twins.
Yeah, it's usually how it works.
Have separate fathers.
No way. It's like Days of Our Lives.
It is like Days of Our Lives, but a judge ruled Monday in a paternity case that the man from whom the twins' mother sought child support has to pay for only one of the children. A DNA test showed that he was almost certainly the father of one twin, but wasn't the father of another.
Wow, so this girl was just like, she was in action. Yeah. Ho! She was a ho!
Thumbs up.
She was like, you done? Because I got another date. Did she even clean up afterwards?
So remember,
what the hell?
because that's what happened to Sammy on Days of Our Lives. Sammy had sex with Lucas, and she had sex with EJ on the same night. Lucas is the father of her daughter, and EJ is the father of
Notice
her son.
how she goes back into fantasy world when it
But
comes
it's
to this.
not.
It's kind of like
whoa,
she's
whoa,
bringing
whoa,
it.
whoa.
This
is not fantasy. I have it in my hands. It's
okay,
right
the,
here.
The story's not
Patterson-
fantasy,
at a
but
Patterson,
Days
New
of Our
Jersey,
Lives is.
Out of Patterson, New Jersey, that this is a
blurring the
true
lines here.
thing. It can happen when the woman has sexual intercourse with two men in the same menstrual cycle, and two of her eggs are fertilized separately by each man. So
Wow.
it is true.
It is possible.
It is true. So
Yeah.
there. I
like
always,
Santa Claus says, she's a ho ho ho.
Oh my gosh.
Woo!
Isn't that crazy, Pat?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
nuts.
Now, what do you tell your kids? Yeah, I'm a slut. How do you explain this to,
Mommy.
I don't get it. Yeah, you're going to have to explain that.
Mommy was really busy
Yeah.
that night. She's little, that you're not,
They look the same. I didn't know it wasn't him.
Wow. And then there was another very interesting story about a runner who kissed a stranger during the Boston Marathon. So I guess apparently during the Boston Marathon, the women of Wellesley, when they run through the crowd.
Women of Wellesley.
The women of Wellesley.
Hello.
This is probably like Mike Walter loves running marathons.
Yeah,
Because
he's looking for the women of Wellesley.
I'm sure he gets kissed all the time when he's running marathons. So
Yeah.
basically,
mostly by men, but that's a
What happened was, so the women of Wellesley are known for kissing men during the Boston Marathon. So this one girl dared her 50-something-year-old mother, who was running in the Boston Marathon, to stop and kiss a handsome stranger.
Okay.
So she did. She found this hot man. They puckered up. They had a nice kiss from what it looked like from the pictures. And then she ran off and he said, "Call me." Well, I guess apparently she went on TV to try to find this Prince Charming because she's single. Mom is single. He gave a really good kiss.
And she's looking to hook up.
And she was looking to find her. This would be a very good feel-good story, especially
Sure.
after the Boston bombing and all that. This would be a great story, right? Well, I guess apparently when she went public with this story, the man's wife saw the photo and said,
Whoops.
"He's married and he is mine."
Nice.
So
that falls under uncomfortable.
yeah, so yep, so basically the man was willing to take a photo and pose
I
pose
did.
for the kiss. And the daughter of the woman tried to find the man online. The photo of the kiss went viral, and that led to the man's wife to send a letter to the woman. So she's not mad. Believe me, our friends have gotten a lot of mileage out of this story, and I have
you
to
bet.
and I have
You bet.
and I have thoroughly enjoyed watching them give my husband grief.
You know how much shit I would go through if this happened to me?
Oh, you'd be dead.
Oh my.
Zach.
It would not. It would. 33 years from now, I would be reminded that. Remember when you kissed that woman at the Boston Marathon? You son of a bitch.
Yes, he would be in a lot of trouble, ladies. So don't be kissing my husband.
She does not forget.
However, if I was running a marathon and I kissed a stranger,
I would have to just put up with it. She'd just say, "Hey, look."
be thumbs
you know.
up.
And what is that called? What is it called? Oh yeah, double standard. Double
Damn right.
standard.
Damn right.
And
I'm-
she admits it. She admits she has a double standard. So
Yes.
at least she knows that she's like.
What did I tell you that I would do if I ever caught you cheating? I would do what?
Rip out her eyes,
Yes.
roll them like dice, and then put them in backwards, and then pull in her hair.
Yeah, I rip out her hair.
Rip out her hair first.
Rip her hair out. Pull her eyes out. Take her eyes out of the socket. Roll them like dice, and then I would put the eyes back in, but they would be backwards. So she'd be basically cross-eyed for the rest of her life.
Yeah, she'd also be blind too, because
That too.
kind of
But
ripped
it
her
is
eyes
soap
out,
opera.
yeah.
I live in a soap opera world, so
She does.
technically.
She does.
Hey, look, Sammy
She lives-
Davis can see. He had one eye.
Yeah, but he couldn't see out of that eye.
I don't know. The one Sammy we worked with on Sunday, he saw fine.
He saw fine out of both because
saw
he had
fine.
two real eyes. He
He
didn't
had
get into
two
any
real
car
life.
accidents.
Isn't that
where
an
he lost an eye.
interesting story, though?
It
That
is.
was very, very
Whoops.
strange. And then this I found this too very interesting. Social media is a factor in would-be divorces, according to a study.
Oh, you could guarantee that.
Really? Okay. Why do you say that?
Because people post shit about the stuff that they're doing that they shouldn't be posting.
Like the woman who, like that, the husband that got caught
look,
kissing
20
the
years
lady.
ago, if you went to a conference and made out with some woman, there wasn't a picture of it that traveling across the world within seconds.
Right.
You know, everybody hopefully woke up the next morning, forgot about it, and then you went on with the next thing. But now it's all over the Facebook and
Yeah.
Twitter and everything else.
It
So-
really is. And this was interesting because, again, Mike Walter brought up a very interesting topic on his show about being invited to an event, like, being invited to like a luncheon, or in our case, congratulations to our friends at TIZO, the International School of Hospitality. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary. And long story short, TIZO threw a beautiful gala on Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Tuesday night. And it was a wonderful event, about 125 people there. But again, pictures went up immediately on
Oh,
social
yeah.
media.
Everything.
And everything. Like,
If you were cheating there, you had divorce papers waiting for you when you got home.
but here's
Seriously.
the issue, and here's what Mike brought up.
Whoops.
And this is what Mike also brought up too. If you aren't invited to, you think you have a relationship with a school or a person, and then you find out that school, that person, and I'm just using school because we were just at the TIZO event and it did happen. The next day, Pat, I got a text message from several people saying, was there an event? I didn't get an invitation. How did you? Matter of fact, somebody at the party actually came up to me, and I told you this. How did you? Whoop. Sorry, that's my phone. How did you get invited?
One of our DJs.
One of our DJs.
Thanks, Kevin Lum.
Kevin Lumchucks is
Lumchucks.
calling in always.
He's dumb chucks right now. is
Yeah,
what he
right
is.
now, because he knows not to call me when I'm doing the show. But anyway, somebody said, Pat, did
What are
I
you doing here?
What? Yeah, what? She said, what are you doing here? And I'm like, wow.
Was invited?
That kind of. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if she listens to our show, and I'm not going to say who it is, but that kind of pissed me off. Like, really? Like, I'm here because I do stuff for the school. But the point that we were all talking about was the fact that now people throw parties and they go to these great events and they're going with people that you think are friends of yours. And then you go and you see pictures and you're like, well,
And
where's my invite?
Where's my invite? So
and then
now,
if you
yeah,
post
yeah.
that, you kind of look like an a-hole and that you're jealous because you weren't invited.
Yep.
But it's true. Like, it's you know what I mean, I don't, where am I going
And you're
with
here,
it?
well, I think a lot of it is just it's that sort of social pressure of being left out on events and was I not important enough for it, whatever else, and who knows what their standard was for vetting the list. Why
Or
they
anybody's
determined-
list.
or
It doesn't go
anybody's
for
list.
I'm not
It's
saying
anybody,
it's
and
anybody.
and not
It's-
just the. I'm saying
Yes,
it's any event.
seriously.
Just you don't know why they were inviting you there. It could have been people that did a specific thing, or people who that supported in a certain way, or whatever, or friends that were involved in this organization or whatever. So you just don't know. But like you said, I know those people. Why didn't they invite me? Because they can't invite everybody. So so now you can get into trouble, or it could just be a situation where you forgot to invite somebody. I mean, we've had events where we've done that, and it wasn't a fault that we didn't want you there. It's just sometimes you get involved with trying to remember everybody to invite
Sure.
that you forget somebody.
Sure, no, absolutely.
And it makes it look like you did it on purpose.
Right. No, absolutely. And for some events, Pat, too, there's a fee involved with, attending an event.
Yeah.
And maybe you weren't invited because maybe somebody just didn't think you could afford a fee or just whatever. But yeah, it's just amazing how quickly like social media has just like, now it's you can't keep
It
a
has
secret.
truly
You can't
changed
keep
the world.
a
Yes,
secret.
it has changed the world.
I guess you can't keep a
and
secret. Like it's out there.
Everything is out there.
Everything is out there and it's immediate. And unless you go on some sort of blackout, which was like what Mike had mentioned, maybe this person who threw this luncheon for these, for this in New Jersey should have told everybody, let's just black out because
Yeah.
Because for years, Pat, and it's okay to say this because it's all out in the open now. DJ Think Tank, the think tank that I'm involved with, we couldn't mention anything. Like we couldn't tell people about this DJ
It's
Think
very
Tank.
exclusive.
It was a very exclusive, but now it's out in the open, and again, people are saying
More
this-
transparency.
Yeah,
a little
there's
more transparency,
yeah.
which I think is good. And I think generally transparency in life is good because at least you have it out there. But some
Absolutely.
people turn it into something else.
And if you have an issue and you weren't invited to an event, I mean, I'm the first one who gets my feelings hurt. You know that all the time. Oh, well,
Yeah.
they didn't invite me. But you know what? If you truly, honestly feel that way, maybe call the person up on the phone and just say, was there any reason why I wasn't invited to this event? I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get an invite.
Yeah.
Or don't publicly post it on Facebook.
I think don't do it as a public battle. I personally could care less. If you wanted to invite me, you would have invited me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not into all that,
But some people are,
Yeah, like you.
like me.
Thank you.
I-
That's a little insecurities coming through.
That's true.
So we know that.
I'm a hot mess.
You are a hot mess, yes, at times.
At times. And to kind of end the show, Pat, real briefly, we have, we love a good dog story here. We love, because we have Champ and Bingo, Chingo, our two dogs. We love a great dog story. I guess a dog in Denver missing for 4 years is home from Illinois. The dog disappeared it was a 9-year-old Shih Tzu who disappeared.
A what Tzu?
Shih Tzu.
A Shih Tzu.
A Shih Tzu disappeared back on July 4th, 2011. The dog was put in the backyard as he headed to a fireworks show. Are you periscoping?
No, these are the picture of our puppies.
Oh, Chingo.
It's
yeah,
kinda
there's
small
Chingo.
in
Yeah,
this, but this is
Pat will
Chingo.
post
I'll
it
post
on.
that up
You
later,
post it
yeah.
up. That was taken today. But I guess apparently the poor dog got scared. 4th of July. So with the holidays, again, the summer holidays
And
are
people will
coming
take
up.
it in and keep it and not try to find the owner, and that, and then you wind up, and did it have a tag? Did it have one of the?
Yeah, it did. When they finally caught up with it, that's how
Probably we
were
took it
able
to the vet, and
they were able
scanned
to
it.
scan it and find out that 4 years, that
Like, hey, this ain't your dog.
Yeah, this ain't your dog. So the volunteers at the Almost Home Foundation rescued Lily and nursed her back to health. She was identified by a microchip with her owner's contact information, and the family was notified. So they're very excited to have their little puppy home, and that's
After
how
4 years, and at that point, you've given up a long time
Oh,
ago.
I wouldn't you?
Because if you don't
I
hear
would.
within,
4 years?
generally within a few days, if you don't get them back, it's very unlikely
I
that
mean,
you
we were
will.
lucky the one time that Lucky got lost.
And that was a week that afterwards that we found him. But we think that somebody took him in and then he got away
He
from
got
that.
away from that. And again, what was it? It was a storm. It was loud
Yeah,
noises.
loud noises, rain, and he got scared.
So
Yep.
if you have a dog, you have a pet, fireworks, loud noises, put them inside, folks. Put
Yes.
them inside. And that's all I got for
That's
today's,
it for today's
Staying
episode
Up with
this
Pat
week.
and Jodi, but
Follow us.
yes.
Facebook, Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. On Twitter, Staying Up. There's no G, just Staying Up Pat Jodi. Staying Up Pat Jodi. So it's Twitter at Staying Up Pat Jodi. One more time, what is it?
Staying Up with Pat and Jodi.
Pat Jodi, not
Pat Jodi.
There's only so many characters.
Staying Up Pat
They don't
Jodi.
give us enough
I know.
characters.
Just follow us.
So Facebook and
Google
Twitter,
us.
and then go on to YouTube to see this version. If you guys are listening to the SoundCloud version and you want to see the YouTube version,
Yeah, see
just
the
go on
YouTube.
to YouTube
Thumbs
and
up.
type in "Staying Up with Pat and Jodi," and you will find us. It's that easy. And subscribe. Just subscribe to the channel because we actually have, hopefully within a couple of months, some very cool archival footage back from the 90s from some of our
Oh my
early
gosh.
productions that we did. Yes.
That'll be fun.
And even our 4 episodes of Over the Top TV, and we have our old wrestling show that we did. So we have some cool, and in the South Bay. So we have some
yeah,
cool
in the
stuff
South
that we're
Bay,
doing.
that'll be funny. That'll be fun.
Yep.
And also, happy birthday to Colt Cabana.
Colt Cabana.
Colt Cabana's birthday.
He's
Thanks.
26 years old today.
No, he's 35.
Oh, 35.
Thanks.
Well, I think he'd rather be 26.
He's admitting it to the world. So
Okay.
I didn't ruin. No spoiler, but
No
happy
spoiler
birthday,
alert.
Colt Cabana. You are awesome.
We like Colt Cabana. He's a cool guy.
very cool. He's a wrestler, by the way. If you haven't,
And he has a podcast.
yes, he has a podcast, and he's awesome. So if you're a wrestling fan, check out Colt Cabana. I am Jodi Harris, CEO of Fun.
And I'm Pat, the Pat side of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. Thank you for watching or for listening, whatever you happen to be
Hola.
doing. And don't forget to tune in again next week. And if you haven't seen or heard the other shows, check them out. Do it now. Really. We have like 14 of them now.
Happy Mother's Day.
Catch up. Happy Mother's Day. And we'll see you next week.
Buenos noches.
Hola. That's the wrong one.
Buenos noches, damas y caballeros.
See.